Okay, this is the craziest story of its kind since the masturbating South Korean teacher story from either 2012 or 2013. A stressed Metro North train engineer in training ejaculated on a pregnant woman who was sleeping on a train. This is Manny Ramos. He's been under a lot of stress lately, and that's what he says caused him to do this. He has a relationship with his wife, which was not really going particularly well. And a friend of mine who actually is a train engineer for a different company told me that everybody was up in arms about this story, which happened a couple of weeks ago. He was on his way to New Haven on the Metro North train to take a physical characteristic test, which is part of the Metro North Railroad's engineering training program. He sees a pregnant woman, and she's in a nearly empty train car, and she's napping. She's asleep. And as he tells it, I was studying for the test when I started to have unwanted thoughts. I began to touch myself when I felt ill with a headache and stressed. The next thing I knew, I was masturbating. The woman's a 33-year-old medical researcher who's 5 months pregnant, and she was tired. She said after a lot of the passengers got off the car, she kind of stretched out and closed her eyes. Just before the train arrived in Fairfield, I felt and heard something moving around me, she said. She felt something drop on her pants, opened her eyes to see something white on her clothes. I then looked straight ahead at a male with his penis exposed. His pants were down, showing his black underwear. She yelled, and the individual was startled, zipped up, and said, "It wasn't me." It's reminiscent of Bart Simpson or the singer Shaggy. It wasn't me. On Tuesday, he is later today, he's going to be in court. He's going to try to use that defense, which is that it wasn't him or he was somehow out of his mind or something like that. He was initially charged with public indecency and second-degree breach of peace, but now he's also going to be charged with fourth-degree sexual assault when he enters the courthouse. He could spend up to 2 years in prison for this. And it's just an incredible story. This might be crazier than the masturbating South Korean teacher.
It really sounds like it's exactly the same thing as the masturbating teacher. I mean, both situations make no sense at all. Yeah, I mean, at least there was like a woman involved in this one when the man starts doing his thing.
Right, so there's there's like a specific victim here, which might make it more of a cut and dry case, whether the other one, the guy's just masturbating in the hallway by himself.
Right. I mean, it could very well have been some type of mental breakdown or lapse. I'm not really sure.
It's obvious you don't buy that just being stressed. Like if you were really stressed, you wouldn't start masturbating on pregnant women in public areas.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you're really stressed and you have one of these breakdowns, how does it manifest itself?
Right.
Would most people start masturbating? I doubt it. Who knows what you would do? But I don't know. I mean, these types of things can happen.
Yeah, it's perfectly believable that this was in some kind of altered mental state, some kind of a breakdown or some kind of lapse or some kind of fugue state, to bring back a term from Breaking Bad. He just didn't know what happened, doesn't know anything. Of course, in Breaking Bad, maybe that's just his excuse now because he did some really odd stuff during the so-called fugue state.